I've got 9 LinkedIn marketing secrets to share with you. Now, these are practical tips that honestly not a lot of people are talking about. Hey, my name is Luke Sievers with One9 Pro. I help entrepreneurs to reflect success in their brand and grow their business online. Let's talk about LinkedIn marketing. Now, successful marketing on LinkedIn is really about 2 things: personal branding and building community. Even if you represent a company on LinkedIn, you need to find a way to structure your marketing around a personality, because people don't connect very well with these faceless companies. People connect with other humans. So personal branding is going to be key. Second, LinkedIn is about creating long-term business relationships, not short-term sales. Since spending more time on LinkedIn over the last year, I've discovered that there's a very vibrant community on here, especially compared to other social networks. You have the opportunity to be a part of this tight-knit community and build a community around your personal brand. Now, I won't exhaust these 2 points because I've really gone into this in more detail in a previous video, but I'll provide that link below if you haven't seen it yet. So with that in mind, these are my 9 tips for marketing on LinkedIn. Now, by the way, these are completely free to implement. It doesn't require a LinkedIn Premium account. These first 2 tips will cover something that I call LinkedIn branding. And this is to make sure that you are positioned correctly to be successful on LinkedIn. And then the following tips after that will be about helping you grow your reach and your community. First, write a clear and compelling headline. Now, this is probably the most crucial LinkedIn marketing tip I can share. Do you really understand how important your LinkedIn headline is? No other social media platform gives you the ability to advertise your product or service with every single post and every single comment you leave. Now, I first realized the power of this when I posted one of my first LinkedIn videos. I just got a few likes on the video, but one of those people who liked it ended up being connected with someone else. It basically got shot onto their newsfeed. They saw the video, they saw my headline that it said that I provide branding and web design services. That's exactly what they needed at that time. So they booked a consultation and they became my client. So let me give you a few tips on creating a great headline. First, some examples of some bad headlines are entrepreneur, innovator, storyteller, consultant, founder, CEO of whatever company.
I'm CEO, bitch.
Please people, if you're not the CEO of Microsoft, then nobody cares. These sort of headlines are a huge waste of your most important asset on LinkedIn because they don't answer a critical question for your target customer. Is your product or service going to make their life better? Now, this is a huge part of what my branding agency does. I help entrepreneurs to clarify their message. And one thing that I often see is the business owner positioning themselves as the star or the hero. But what you should be positioning yourself as is the guide. So the Yoda to Luke Skywalker.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
You are the person who's going to help your customer get what they want. So your headline, first of all, needs to be clear, but it also needs to answer the question, will you make that person's life better? Are you talking about the value that you're offering? And often it means getting away from just sharing your title. That might mean something to you, but it's doing nothing to actually get you customers. And lastly, I recommend being very mindful of the length of your headline. Keep in mind that people are viewing your LinkedIn profile and your comments on both a desktop and a mobile device, so make sure that the length works very well even on mobile. Next, we need to brand the rest of your profile. While your headline will help get people's attention and get them to view your profile, you need to use your profile itself to wow them and to hopefully make them a connection and possibly a customer. One way to do this is to use your About section to further explain the value that you offer and just more information about what you do. Your profile photo is also extremely important. I like to tell my clients that your logo design is really the face of your brand. But in the case of LinkedIn, your face is literally the face of your brand. So make sure your profile photo really matches the tone of your personal brand. Are you trying to appear friendly, professional, serious, approachable? Make sure your photo accurately depicts this. Also, make sure you choose a photo that's very zoomed in on your face, because when people are scrolling through the newsfeed, your photo is going to appear very tiny. You also want to add a cover photo to your LinkedIn profile. Profiles that don't have this, they just look incomplete and it makes it seem like you're not that active on LinkedIn. So make sure and have one at least. For this, choose an image that visually conveys the end result you're providing for your customer, similar to what you would do on a website banner. Take advantage of LinkedIn's fairly new services section where you can kind of list out the services that you offer, and this will also help you with being more searchable. Also, add some featured content to your LinkedIn profile. Definitely have at least one LinkedIn article that demonstrates your knowledge about your industry. And then underneath your About section, LinkedIn also gives you the opportunity to provide different links. So I would probably choose maybe just 2 for this section. Use one of them to be a call to action for whatever you want them to do, to schedule a consultation or whatever. And then use the other one to link to another piece of content that will again build trust and display your knowledge, maybe like a video or something like that. And the last section that you really want to pay attention to is your recommendations. Now this will take some time to build up because you need to request other people give you recommendations, but this can be really good for building trust because they're testimonials that show the work that you've done in the past. Okay, now that you're positioned correctly on LinkedIn, we can talk about how to grow your connections and your reach. I'm actually going to give you a strategy that's originally from Gary Vaynerchuk.
When you have the f***ing leverage, you need to f***ing strike.
This strategy is called the $80 strategy, and it's one that Gary Vee used back in the day to grow his Twitter following. I'm actually going to provide my modified version of the $80 strategy to fit the context of LinkedIn. Now it's called the $80 strategy because it's about giving your 2 cents to 90 different people in a day. In other words, leaving 90 comments on 90 different posts. I don't think those numbers are completely realistic, but I'll get to that in just a moment. So the way it works is that you're going to search targeted hashtags related to your industry and then engage with the people who are producing content about that. So for example, let's say that you are a business coach and you are targeting life coaches. You want to be a coach of life coaches. You may want to simply search the hashtag life coach and see what comes up. Now you just go down the list and start engaging by leaving meaningful comments on each of these posts that are related to your industry. This is how you start to join the conversation and become a part of that community. Now, the reason that I don't think that leaving 90 comments in a day is very realistic on LinkedIn is because you really want to leave meaningful comments. And that often involves, reading someone's article that they wrote or watching their video. And it's not something you can just comment on really quickly, like if they had a photo on Instagram or just a quick tweet. Also, if you leave a one-word comment, it's really not going to make you stand out, and it's not going to really accomplish what we want to accomplish here. If you have a full day to commit to it, you might be able to get 90 comments in, but I just don't think that's realistic. So then this next point is actually part 2 of my modified $80 strategy. As you are commenting on other people's content, once they finally like your comment or reply to your comment, that's when you should send them a connection request. I've found that because you've already added value to them by engaging with their content, they're much more likely to accept your request even without you sending a message along with the request. Now, the reason this strategy works so well is because by searching hashtags, you're going to see the content that's very recent and it shows people who are actually active on LinkedIn. To do a search any other way, you may come up with results for people who they have a LinkedIn profile, but they may not actually use it day to day. For this next tip to help you grow your network on LinkedIn, you should utilize the search box. LinkedIn has a very powerful search feature which allows you to sort by the region and industry and all these different things. So definitely if you are a local based business, you may want to use this to search by your region, and then also go and make sure that you check just for second and third connections. That way you can find people who you're not already connected with. Now in this case, I do recommend sending a message along with your connection request if that's what you're trying to do. Just say, hey, I'm looking to connect with other people in blank industry. Or you can go onto their profile ahead of time and look at some of their content, see what you can comment on to compliment them on their content. But the way that I recommend using the search feature is to not just search by people, but search by content in whatever that is. So if you're searching for life coach, it will actually show up more people who have life coach in their title and people who are talking about life coaching. Again, doing this assures that you're actually connecting people who are active on LinkedIn. If you'll remember, when LinkedIn first came out, just about everybody went and signed up for a profile because they felt like they needed to have their resume on there. Well, LinkedIn has changed a lot since then, and just because someone has a LinkedIn profile doesn't mean they actually use it. Connecting with people and engaging with their content in this way probably means that they're going to be putting out more content in the future, which is another opportunity for you to connect with them and continue to build that community. So like we did on my modified $1.80 strategy, you can go and engage with the content, wait for them to respond, and then send them a connection request. Now, gaining connections and building your network on LinkedIn is great, but it's not everything. In order to build that community that you need to have on LinkedIn and also build your personal brand, you need to be creating thought leader content. This is the sort of content where you're giving away free value, free information
For free!
And it also establishes you as the thought leader on a certain topic. If you're struggling to find a starting place, just start by creating content that educates people on some misconceptions about your industry. Also, don't be afraid to be transparent and vulnerable in your content on LinkedIn. Actually, some of the most successful content on LinkedIn shows people's vulnerability. Even on this traditionally professional social network, people are desperate for this. Remember that even though people are on here talking about their business and their industry, they are humans first, so don't forget that part. As another tip, try to create content that will spur some sort of reaction or discussion in the comments below. The more people that like and comment on your posts will mean that LinkedIn will actually show your post to more people. So think about ending your post with some sort of question or asking for people's opinions. People love that. Now, time for a bonus tip. If you really want to stand out in your LinkedIn content, create content that's entertaining. LinkedIn does get a bad rap for being a little bit too corporate and kind of stuffy, but this is changing. Two great examples of this are Shay Rowbottom and Andrew Helms. If you go check out their profiles, which I'll include in the description below, you'll see that they have very entertaining and funny content, and people love it. So I challenge you to come up with creative ways to market yourself on LinkedIn. Yes, to establish yourself as a thought leader, but you can do so in a way that's more lighthearted and entertaining. Not a lot of people are really doing it this way, so if you can do it, you'll definitely stand out. Point number 7, foster a community with those who are engaging with your content. Simply put, when someone likes or comments on your content, go ahead and send them a connection request because they're showing that they actually like the content you're producing. And chances are, if they liked this content, they're probably going to like and engage with your content in the future. And because they're now your connection, you can engage with their posts too and return the favor. I just want to drive this point home that LinkedIn is really not the same as Instagram or Twitter where you're trying to gain followers. There definitely are followers on LinkedIn, but the point is to build community. So when you're building these connections, getting a connection request, accepting it, you're actually having a mutual exchange. Now they can see your content and you can see their content. So a great way to foster this community on LinkedIn is to send them a personalized message after they become your connection. Now, here's what not to do. Do not try to sell them, do not try to pitch them, do not talk about your services.
Stop it!
This is not the time for that. Remember, this is a long-term game on LinkedIn. It's about long-term business relationships. In your message, keep it short, keep it brief. If their main headline is not clear, ask them a little bit more about what they do, or ask some question that you've always had about their industry. By asking questions and listening, that's actually adding value to people. Then I strongly recommend offering them something of value for free. See how you can support them, see what you can give them, just to show you that you care about them as a new connection. The purpose with this personalized message is just to further cement that relationship. Unless they specifically say that they need what you offer, don't try to sell them, instead add value. And now for my final point, join an engagement group. LinkedIn has sort of had a rebirth in a way. And because of this, those who have hopped on at the right time have really benefited from LinkedIn's organic reach. But as more people start to hop on the LinkedIn train, this reach is going to start to decrease because it's going to be oversaturated. And that means it could be harder for your content to get seen. So a simple way to give your content a little boost when you first post it is to join an engagement group. These are also known as pods. Now, I've been a part of pods on Instagram and I've seen some success from them. So then I thought to myself, what if pods could work on LinkedIn? But then I came to realize a lot of people are using pods already. Now, the way an engagement group works is a bunch of people get together and they agree to engage on each other's content. Each person will usually post their content right in a direct message or something like that. and then everybody will go like and comment, and then they agree to do the same thing with other people's content. Now, I don't think joining an engagement group is going to make or break whether or not you're the biggest influencer on LinkedIn or not, but coming from someone who knows how much time it takes to produce content, it definitely can help. If you follow these 9 tips, you will be able to build a community on LinkedIn of people who know, like, and trust you. And when that happens, you won't need to be doing any cold calling. Instead, you'll have people knocking at your door wanting to work with you. Comment below and let me know what you think about these tips. If you have any tips to add, be sure and mention it in the comments below as well. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos about business and marketing. And if you are looking to grow your business, be sure and schedule a free brand review at 19pro.com, and I'll look at your branding and marketing, see what you're doing well and what could possibly be improved. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.